Hey, Julie Bean.
Don't make me smile.
Why?
Because these big holes in my face are from doing that Instalift.
I don't see anything.
I know they're really small. They look like little spider bites, but I can't smile and I can't move my face for a week. And you're telling me that I can't eat hard food.
Yeah. Well, I think you look great. I mean, if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have noticed.
I think people will see these holes in my face and the fact that I can't smile because I get zingers. So what they do with this Instalift, it's called the Threadlift if you want to look it up online. I watched a lot of videos. It's really big in Asia. And in Asia, I guess they use a cannula. On the one that I got from Dr. Arish, how do I say it?
Morazadeh.
Morazadeh.
Of Beverly Hills.
Yes. So he, who you referred me to, he uses one that's called the Instalift Silhouette Lift, and it's a needle instead of a cannula.
Okay.
And he sticks it here in your cheek. That's where what those holes are in the front. And he runs it all the way through, and it comes out by the ear. And my skin, I don't have any fat, unfortunately, in my face, which is why I'm doing this. And so if you go too deep, you'll feel some pain, but you're all numbed up. And you're awake, and I'm sitting there trying to look at the needle, but the needle's like that big, and it goes in. So
numbed up, you mean not numbing cream? You mean like lidocaine?
Lidocaine, yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry. So they stick the needle in one end, the needle comes out the other end, and then and he pulls it out, and then he adjusts the thread, and then he does it on the second layer. So I did 2. You can do 3 or 4. I read somewhere you could do 4 or 5, as many as you want, and I did 2 on each side, and then they pull it up a little bit and to firm up the skin, and then and then they snip it, and then these little cones that make collagen form around I don't feel like it looks like these little Christmas ornaments on the thread. And I guess collagen forms.
You saw the thread?
Yeah, I was trying to watch it go through. I'm praying in my head. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to watch."
Oh my God, you're brave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't taking out blood. I don't like watching blood come out or the big needle that goes into a vein.
Right, yeah.
But anything like that, I have no problem with.
Wow.
I get a little squeamish with the blood giving, that whatever it is. I had a bad experience the first time I gave blood. And I have been squeamish. I'm a lot better now. I kind of fixed it, but I was squeamish ever since that first bad experience.
Yeah.
They couldn't find my vein.
Yeah, that's me.
And they're poking me out until I practically fainted.
Yeah. And you get black and blue after.
And I was in so much pain, and I forgot it was my first surgery ever, first time I ever had to give blood. And ever since then, I'd get squeamish and my palms get sweaty.
Wow.
So my palms did get a little sweaty because he was poking around, he messed up.
Yeah.
The first string he put in on this side broke.
Ow.
Yeah. So
how did he get it out? Was it in?
He had to yank it out, and that was not fun.
That has not got
It
to be
wasn't
fun.
an awful pain, but it was a very uncomfortable feeling because he had to yank it, even though I'm all numbed up. So I don't know. He said, of course, it was faulty product. And so he put it back in. So the hole right there is a little bit bigger than the one on the other side.
Again, it's not noticeable.
Because he had to do that one twice.
Wow. Well, what a great procedure, because it's I think you get more bruising and stuff when you do Restylane or injectables. If I get Botox done and injectables, I'm usually bruised. I
only get bruised if I've been taking I have a little arthritis, so I take Celexicob, which is Celebrex. Mm-hmm. So if I'm taking Celebrex within a week of the Botox, then I get bruised too. And sometimes my Dr. Mickey, he's got really big hands. Yeah. And sometimes he just stabs me too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I get a bruise.
Well, it depends if they hit a blood vessel, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So once in a while, but definitely if I've taken any of my my arthritis stuff, then I definitely get bruised. And the Restylane, I've only done it twice, for my birthday this year and for my birthday last year. I love it. Well, one was Juvederm and one was, there's 3 levels of Juvederm. So I had the medium level and I think the strong level or the regular level. So I've tried 2 levels. I think I got the stronger one this past year, and then I'll be due again for this birthday. So I want to do that once a year. And that shit really helped, man.
I love Juvederm. I don't know what level, but I find the results for me are much better. I did Restylane once and it hurt. It really hurt. And I was for 10 days bruised from it.
Yeah, one's a stronger version. It fluffs up more. It's more, they call it viscosity.
You get noodles. You can feel them like
I
little
never
noodles.
felt
yeah,
that.
I had these noodles, and I was like, I felt really swollen and everything, and I was trying to do it on these little creases I had here and on the sides of my mouth, and it just really was. I will never do that again.
Your skin is well, according to Dr. Arish, your skin is a little thinner than mine.
Okay.
Not that much, because I never feel those noodles. And I tried that Restylane there once. Didn't really do anything for me. I mean, I'll try it again when Mickey has some left over.
Right.
He'll put them there.
Well,
like if there's any left
he
over.
didn't do that. This was like a long time ago when I wanted to try and see what it was like. Because I'm always like trying things because I'm curious, you know, and I just try to find a place that I could put it. I'm like, hey, try it here. Why not?
Well, the fillers are amazing, but for whatever reason, like this Insta-Lift or the Silhouette Lift or the or the Threadlift, it's all the same thing, just different names for the same procedure. It's less invasive than doing like a real surgery, so it's less expensive than obviously a facelift, and I'm too young for a facelift, I think. And it's
Please,
but
girls do facelifts in their 30s now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
and it's more expensive than doing the Juvederm and the Restylane, so it's like kind of in between.
But how long does it last?
I don't know, a year or two. I don't know.
Yeah. So the thing is, with surgery, you get longer results,
Right.
and these things are less, they're temporary.
Yeah, I've heard anywhere between 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I have a fast metabolism, so I don't know. I mean, my Restylane doesn't last a year. Botox only lasts about.
Oh, you see, those things last for me like a year or two.
Yeah, but I work out so much, so I break it
Yeah,
down.
you're right.
It has to do with your metabolism. So I break down Botox in like 4 months at the most. I get 4 months out of it.
I have to tell you, I did Juvederm. I had a line from reading,
Yeah.
between my eyes. I did
you did it
like,
there?
Yeah, I did.
I got
like,
it in my cheeks.
I had it like 5 years ago, and honestly, that line never came back.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was amazing. I was like, God, so sometimes it wears off in places, and sometimes I feel like it stays.
But don't you do Botox there too?
No, I don't have to do Botox here anymore. I have to do it on the corners.
Yeah,
and
I do that.
These, and then a little bit under the eyes, or sometimes I feel Botox is okay under the eyes, but I still push for fillers, light fillers under the eyes.
See,
and those small
that's what I
creases.
still have to do is get the fillers
Yeah.
under the eye. So I just get the Botox like a crescent moon
Yeah.
around like this.
Yeah.
And then he sticks a couple right there so I don't get that line in the middle.
Oh, I can't
But I haven't
frown
tried
there. Yeah, it just doesn't bother. I don't have to frown anymore because I have the right prescription in my eyeglasses now.
Oh, okay.
Right. But the thing is that with the fillers, I just find that when they're light on the little eyes, it prevents everything from getting worse. So I use it as a preventative.
If I could afford them, I would get them twice a year instead of once a year.
Oh.
But I just with this Insta-Lift, I don't know. I just felt like I don't know if this can last 2 years, and the Juvederm doing it 2 years, it's maybe just a little more than double that. So if you get more results, so let's say your Juvederm is $700 or $800, and you do that twice. And then this is about double that. So if it lasts twice as long, it's almost the same. It's maybe $500 or $600 more than 2 years of doing Juvederm.
Right. No, that's great. I mean, I think that's incredible that they have these things today that are as good almost as having plastic surgery. They just don't last as long, but
Right.
the results are great.
Wait, did I do that math right? So if Juvederm is like $700-$800 times 2 years is $1,600. Oh, and this is double that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
definitely more. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
But you're saying Juvederm doesn't last on you. For me, Juvederm is at least 18 months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just barely get a year out of it.
Right.
So we'll see. I mean, I got it for my birthday in March, and we'll see if I still have any left. But now I won't know because now I just got the Insta-Lift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, all this shit's really expensive. I mean, Botox is my go-to, but Botox doesn't do everything.
And
Although
it tends to wear off faster for some reason now. It's that they say that your body can get used to it.
oh yeah?
Yeah, and it tends to wear off faster. Like at the beginning, they used to say it lasts 3 to 4 months. I find like 2 months for me is the max, and then but they say it reduces 50% within the first month, which I was asking because I was very annoyed that it wasn't lasting. And they said that actually after 1 month you get, and even Dr. Groth, who's really he's a specialist in eyes only.
Yeah, we're talking about Dr. Groth in Beverly Hills.
Right. He was saying that because I asked him once, I said, how come my Botox isn't, by second month it looks droopy again? And he said, well, Botox doesn't last more than, a couple of months now. It goes down by 50% after the first month.
Okay, and then as we aged, Because
Aging doesn't help. Yeah.
So you started the Botox before I did. So
Yeah.
like, when am I going to start noticing it? Because it already doesn't last on me that long.
Well, that's because also if you work out and you're using your face a lot, the more muscles you use, the faster it wears off.
But I thought because it's that botulism thing, like just because it's a foreign invader to your body and I have a fast metabolism, it's like I'm processing it out of my body anyway, regardless of how much I like move my face muscles.
Well, at the beginning when I first started doing it, like in my 40s, like when I turned 40, I think I did it for my birthday or something, that, the doctor told me back then that sometimes it causes permanent paralysis and that the line may never come back because you won't be
Really?
able to do that facial expression. And I'm like, all right, like let's go for that. But
Really?
I've never had that happen, so I don't know if that's true.
Oh. And now, so Mickey, my doctor, who does my Botox, who's a friend, he said that that Botox has gotten more expensive because they're using it for all these other applications now. So more and more companies are buying it, and now they're using, what's the other one? The other brand?
Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot the name of it.
What's the other brand of Botox? All right, it'll come to us.
Yes.
Why can't I think of it?
Because it's not as popular. We've been doing Botox for a longer time, so it's in our heads. But I know what you're talking about. It's but the thing is that
It's slightly weaker.
yeah, but it doesn't last as long.
And the needle doesn't hurt as much. So what the alternative to Botox is a slightly less powerful version of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The needle's a little bit thinner too. So I actually like that it doesn't hurt as much.
See, that Botox doesn't hurt me. Fillers hurt me.
For me, the fillers hurt less.
Sometimes I don't put numbing cream and I just go for it. It's fine.
It might be the doctor that we have that does it.
Yeah.
Or it could be our faces. I don't know.
Yeah.
But God bless Botox, and I wish that we could get more of it for because some people use it under the chin for these muscles, but Mickey won't do that on me because he says he's not comfortable putting it there. But I know these nurse practitioners who do it under the chin.
Well, I did it once and my muscles were lax and I found it sagged more.
You're kidding.
I did not like it at all. And I felt numb there for a while, like, because you get this paralysis feeling. And I felt like when I swallowed, I wasn't swallowing right. It just wasn't for me,
Really?
Yeah. And so I didn't like that. And then once I got Botox and my eyelid drooped and it completely went down. I had one eyelid down and one
You're
eyelid up.
kidding.
Yeah. So you have to be very careful where they put the Botox, because if it's not somebody who really knows what they're doing,
Wow.
it could be more. And you have to take these eye drops that are supposed to reduce the effect of the Botox, but it really didn't help much. I had to wait for some reason it lasted 3 months, After the first month it was a bit better.
Did I know you then? I don't remember you having a droopy eyelid.
No, probably just when I met you, because I was going to a wedding and I wanted to have a little touch up.
Okay.
And I just had that little injection just to take away a little bit of the heaviness, and it actually made me very heavy. And you know what? I never recuperated it. That's why this side of my eye is droopier than this one.
You're kidding. You think
Yeah.
that's from the Botox?
Absolutely. And even doctors will say that. They'll say, yeah, sometimes. And that's where they say sometimes it can permanently paralyze. So you have to be very careful.
Well, I guess I've been really lucky.
Because I have one eye that's droopier, and it's ever since then than
You're
the other side.
kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what do you do to counteract that? Does the doctor
Live
give a
with
little
it.
more on one side?
No, there's nothing you can do. Actually, don't go there. I don't touch that area anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because
I
it
didn't
makes
know
it
that.
worse. Yeah.
Don't make me smile.
No.
Oh yeah, because with this thing, if you smile or move your mouth too much, you get these zingers. The zingers are you feel like a little electric zaps, and that's because it's deep in the skin,
Oh, yeah.
and it hits a nerve, like
Yeah.
the string hits a nerve.
Yeah.
So
But can you do it under here? I would want to do it here too.
I don't know.
Could it pull everything back?
I mean, I would imagine that he
But
would
this
have
is
said.
muscles, I think, that have to be.
Well, what do you know about this? I mean, Mickey told me that the main surgery that they've been doing and we're talking about the turkey neck, is that they slice down because they sew that muscle back together.
Yeah,
it's a
so
muscle split.
Did you know it's the most common number one aging factor that's recognizable to women, and it starts in their 40s. And it's the one thing that ages you the most, even more than your face.
Your turkey neck?
Your neck muscles.
Yeah.
It's actually turkey neck is when you have hanging skin.
Yeah.
This isn't turkey neck. This is muscles. Well, as you get older, your muscles separate. The longer your neck, the more the separation. And this is what actually Dr. Morazadeh told me. And what they do is they call it a corset procedure where they stitch it like a corset together.
Oh, okay.
And bring them back together.
Yeah, that's what Mickey was telling me
Right.
about. That's like the main thing. But what are the other alternatives? Because that's a really invasive surgery. Like how long is that
There's
healing
no
process?
other alternative. It's just the only way to do it if you really want to nip it in the bud. I was looking for other alternatives, trying to do, like you mentioned face yoga at one point.
Yeah, I
But
tried that.
It's that your muscles, and that's what I asked Dr. Murazadai, and he said it's because your muscles are separating as you
Yeah.
get older. And it's the number one most, that's the thing that ages you the most, and we don't pay enough attention to it. And as well as we never, when I was young, did I think of putting as much SPF here as I did on my face? No, so my face is actually better than my neck because I got more sunspots here. I didn't think of it,
And me too. Well, I, trained people outside for many years and did outdoor sports and stuff. And I would have sunscreen on my face and then a visor on my head. And then the sweat would drip down and take the moisturizer off my neck and chest. So my chest was getting, all of the sun damage and much less on my face.
Absolutely. And so I know even if you're in the water, it's reflecting off the water right here.
Yeah, so I got a lot on my chest.
Your thinnest skin is
Yeah.
right here. So your décolleté is a big issue. These are the things that actually, when I was looking it up and doing research on it, the number one telltale aging factor is the décolleté and neck area on a woman, more
Yeah,
so
for
than
sure.
the face.
Yeah, mine got really crepey.
Yeah. Well, you can see women with beautiful, flawless faces, and maybe they're aging well, or maybe
Yeah.
they're doing things, and then you look at their neck and you're like, ugh.
I had a 70-year-old client like that, very, very wealthy. And so her face, she had the IPL laser done and like Fractora. Maybe she did the same, maybe she did that procedure twice, I'm not sure. But her skin was just like alabaster and smooth, but you could tell her age by the chest. And then she did the IPL and got all the brown spots off her chest, but you could still see the crepey skin. So what do we do about that?
Well, the problem with the brown spots is that they can be removed sometimes because of pigmentation. They turn into white blotches, and then you get that kind of discoloration. So it's because the skin is so thin there, you don't have much to work with.
What do we do about the crepiness there, though? Which laser is for that? Is that the CO2?
They say the fractional or the CO2, all these lasers, but it depends on the sensitivity of your skin. I did an IPL a while ago, and I got scarring from it, and that's created a white blotch
On your chest?
on my chest.
Really?
Yeah. So I've done it on my face once, and it was fine. But also, it doesn't. The other thing is, it makes you more sensitive. So when you go out in the sun, if you're not really well protected, you'll get more brown spots as a result thereof.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
This is a very difficult area. Now, I'm not going to mention names, but I've known some Hollywood actresses, because I was in the fashion industry.
Mention names.
I don't want to do that.
Mention
I
names.
respect people's privacy, but the thing is that I've seen them disappear for a month and come back with the neck of a 20-year-old. And recently, my girlfriend's
Come on,
sister,
she was in public when she came back.
my girlfriend's sister had it done with a doctor that is in the Valley, and it's amazing because she had definitely turkey neck, like the kind that you have no neckline, it's just skin
Yep,
from here
yep.
to here, and aging. And she has a neck now of a 20-year-old. And everything's gone here. I don't know what she did, but it was a month recovery, by the way, so it's a big, big thing. But she looks amazing. Obviously, it took 10 to 20 years off.
Well, I have a friend who's late 60s, looks amazing. She's had a lot of work done. She's friends with a lot of plastic surgeons, and she's a celebrity stylist. So she's got some really good hookups. And then she refers the celebrities to these doctors. So they give her a lot of stuff for cost. And she did an amazing job. And she had the neck lifted. And it looks great, but same thing you're talking about with the celebrity. I know who you're talking about, and you should. She's almost dead. You can mention. She's got a foot in the grave.
Because she never admitted to having it done.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming she did because she was wearing, and I actually two of them, not just one, and they were wearing scarves for a couple of weeks.
I know one of the ones you're talking about. Yeah.
But do they do it when she had that neck lift? Do they seam it in the back?
Yeah, they seam it behind the neck. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you move around, or how do you chew?
She couldn't do anything for a month, and she lost a lot of weight because she had to drink through a straw and eat soft food.
But how bad was her neck then? It must have been really bad.
Well, she's almost 70. I mean, she looks amazing because she's done some stuff to her face. I mean, she looks incredible, and she has long hair, beautiful extensions. She looks great.
Yeah, I think the neck really, as great as your face can look, if your neck isn't looking good, you can tell right away. That's, to me, a pivotal point.
Yeah, so this friend of mine, she's almost 70, the celebrity stylist, and you would be like, is she 60 yet? You know, you're like, is she about 60? So it's amazing. So it's definitely a 10-year difference.
Wow.
To do the neck.
No,
10
I
years
mean, like
easily.
I said, this friend of mine, she looks amazing, and it's just nice because it makes everything else look fresher. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't have to do anything else because that looks so good.
So now we're talking about people in their 60s. What year do we do it? Like, how long do we wait?
Well, they say you wait the longest possible to get the best results. Otherwise, you have to do it again.
Why can't they come up with something else for
I
under the neck?
know. I wish. I was asking my doctor, like, you know, for the little creases you have here that you get from reading. And, you know, because they're saying, actually, I was reading an article that kids, women, people are getting necklines younger because of the iPhones, and they're always doing this. So you're putting your neck down. So now they're getting it in their late 20s and 30s already.
They call it tech neck.
Tech neck.
Yeah.
You're getting not turkey neck, you're getting tech neck.
That's right.
So the thing about that is, like, you know, I thought maybe you could do a filler in there or something, but I don't know.
Since the advent of my iPhone, I have definitely gotten more tech neck than I ever had before. Yeah, I mean, I definitely got more creases than I used to have.
Well, I remember somebody warning me at work when I had my first BlackBerry that be careful, it's crackberry, and you're going to be like, you know, it's going to age you. And I didn't know what they meant at the time. Now I get it.
Oh my God, I know, it's so true. It's awful. Okay, what was the other topic we were going to talk about?
We were going to talk about indecencies.
Oh yeah,
indecent gestures.
What? Oh yeah, what story were we talking about? And then we started talking about our like my high school, junior high school gym teacher, and your high school guidance counselor.
Yeah, so I think that we were talking about, like, back in our time.
Oh yeah.
How, you know, it was always sort of your fault if you brought unwanted attention to you, versus today with a Me Too movement, you know, we don't put up with that shit. It's like, you know, there is no excuse for any of it.
That's right.
But back then, when even your first job, and as far back as going to school, you know, people in powerful positions, teachers or whatever, they could do things that were not, you know, necessarily welcome. Even if they didn't physically touch you, it could be verbal. And it's damaging because you'd blame yourself. Like, what did I do? What did I do to bring on this negative attention?
Yeah, I think women our age, like, we had to learn how to just suck it up and just grow a thick skin, they call it.
Or like, well, it's your fault for putting on makeup, or it's your fault for wearing those tight jeans, or, you know, you did it to yourself type
And
of
your
thing.
parents never wanted you to dress sexy.
No, they wanted me to be like preppy and proper.
And you had this lascivious guidance counselor in high school.
Yeah,
right?
well, actually, it was me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend was gorgeous. She was a beautiful woman, and, you know, she was very innocent and naive. She didn't even understand what was going on. And he was, you know, we went to him for counseling on our future, what to do next after high school.
He had some ideas for what to do next.
Yeah, he certainly did. He basically stalked us and tried to give us presents, you know, jewelry, and that was unacceptable behavior. I mean, that is already, you know, today that man, they would be arrested immediately. We were scared to say anything because we thought we'd be blamed.
Right. So, but nowadays, if someone does that, it's like it's known that you just have to.
Today, you stand your ground, man. You're like, hey, whoa.
Yeah, you have to report that.
You're fired, baby.
Yeah, and you have to report it, which
do.
was like, so I think, you know, if we just go back in history a little bit to like the Kavanaugh, you know, the confirmation and
Right.
all this, and, you know, the accusers of Donald Trump, the accusers of Harvey Weinstein, when this whole Me Too movement started, women our age, I think, were really at a so women in their like late 40s or mid 40s and 50s, even into the 60s, like, we're like, where was everybody to help us? Like, why, you know, why
we shut up and we figured, hey, you didn't get the job you wanted or something because
you didn't sleep with the guy, you didn't flirt with him enough,
yeah.
or you were too prim and proper.
Or certain industries like the fashion industry or modeling or anything like that, acting, it was considered, you know, well, what do you expect if you want to get your foot in the door type of thing. That was the connotation.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do it, you didn't get the job, basically.
Right, you got to sleep with the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And we all knew that was wrong, but you know, that's one of the reasons I came out of the entertainment business. I mean, I went to film school. I moved out here because I wanted to work in film, which I did. And one thing that got me out of the business was I couldn't stand. I just kept getting fat. Like, I was sitting around. When you work in production, it's hurry up and wait. So you know, you get everything all together. Everything is set and ready to go.
And you're waiting.
And then you're waiting for something to happen. What's the next thing to do?
Right.
or you're, at a high stress desk job.
Right.
Like there were years I was working for agents
Right.
at ICM, and it's high stress. And so I'm sitting and eating too much, or I'm on set getting bored and boredom eating. So I was either stress eating or boredom eating, or my hours were just too long to get to the gym. So I felt really unhealthy. But if I'm really honest as well, I want to blame it on just the fact that I was feeling lousy physically with food, which is true. But to be completely honest, it was also the sexual harassment. Like I worked when I was a production coordinator and production manager on independent films. My ex-boyfriend, who actually I worked with him when we were together, and then when we split up, I still worked with him. He was a line producer and an assistant director. He went on to bigger things, but at the time we were working on these low budget movies, and the actual director of the movie would call me and the one girl above me, who was his girlfriend, he would refer to me as tits on a board, and his girlfriend on set in front of an entire crew, tits on a stick. We didn't even have names. I mean, it was so humiliating.
Yeah.
You go, hey, tits on a board.
Yeah.
Hey, tits on a stick.
Today you would never, ever.
Can you believe?
No.
So to truth be told, like I just couldn't stand that. And then
you had to accept it because nobody ever said anything about it.
No one stood
it
up for
was
me.
part of the job.
And my ex-boyfriend / before that boyfriend was like right there, and he would cringe, but the guy was above him. What could he say?
Nothing.
And then even when I worked in office jobs, like I felt like I had to be one of the guys.
Yeah, you do. You have to either be one of the guys because you have to protect yourself.
Yeah, and so that people would be making like crude sex jokes in front of me, and I would just have to laugh it off and pretend I was one of the guys.
You're not affected.
And put on a man's role.
Absolutely.
And just play the dude.
I mean, I know I didn't get that first promotion because I didn't cave into the suggested protocol that was very politically suggested. And so funny that someone else obviously did, that I was in competition with me and got that promotion. And it was really disheartening.
Yeah.
And it was talked about in the company I worked for. Everybody knew these two were having an affair, and it didn't matter how hard you worked or what degrees you had under your belt. It came down to that as the pivotal turning point at that time.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And so I'm so glad that the Me Too movement is happening. I mean, it's affecting the whole world. Maybe culture will even change in Europe where, we know, like, you can see a commercial. You could be watching a commercial for, like, for Chips Ahoy. And there's like a topless woman, or a couple having sex, and they're selling cornflakes.
I don't know if in high schools it's like this today anymore, but I remember in high schools, guys used to grope women all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if today if that's changed or not, but I remember that was just like, you used to avoid the guys if they were walking down the hall because you were afraid that they were going to try to grab something.
Yeah.
And laugh it off. Ha ha ha. Grabbed her ass, grabbed her tits, ha ha ha.
Right. So I'm so glad that we have the Me Too movement because we all knew it was wrong. Even the guys knew it was wrong, and I don't know how it was ever even allowed. So let's cut back to now 1998. Let's go all the way back to the Monica Lewinsky thing.
Okay.
So I was listening to, there's a really famous podcast out there called Slow Burn, and it was really big like this past year. And it's about the Bill Clinton impeachment trial. And so the episode I was listening to today, and they're old. I had them all saved, and I just didn't have a chance to get, up to date with all of them. So I was listening to one today, and it was Linda Tripp talking about why, she understands why she was the villain. She knows she's not an attractive woman. She's like, I looked the part and, whatever.
Right.
And she goes, yes, and I did, and I feel bad. I did something awful. I betrayed a friend's trust.
Yes.
She said, but, I am a person of strong family values, and what Clinton was doing to her was wrong. And I had to do something. And yes, she felt bad about what happened to Monica, but on a larger scale, she's like, I had to do this for women to know that it is not okay that for a man in power to be able to subject a girl 1/3 their age to that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean,
so we all thought, but we remember in that day and age, like in the 90s, we thought Linda Tripp was like, we thought she was like a freaking villain.
Absolutely.
She was like the Gollum. We're like, ugh, what awful person would do that to their friend?
Right.
Now, listening to that story with today's lens, what a different world. It's like, that's right. She was protecting women.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Right.
it wasn't about ratting out her friend. It was about protecting women in years of highly powerful men in the White House or in other powerful positions.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I love Linda Tripp now. Because at the time I was like, oh, what an awful thing to do to your friend, you know? Because now, you know, look what happened to poor Monica.
Right.
You know, who's just a young girl who wants to have sex with the world's most powerful man.
Right.
I get it.
Right. No, I mean, it could be attractive to see that, you know, and have that feeling, but it's still, it's not acceptable. And, you know, the Me Too movement has given us a voice. I think a lot of women were held back in admitting these things were happening because it's shameful. You're ashamed.
Yeah.
It makes you feel dirty, first of all. It really does.
It does.
It takes away all the things that, you know, you don't feel good about yourself. You feel bad and you feel guilty. Like, what did I do to deserve this?
Right. You feel guilty and you feel like disempowered or unempowered. What's the word? Unempowered. Disempowered.
But I think I don't know if these people, these predators, I'll call them, realize that that's what they're doing. They're really psychologically damaging.
Right. And that's what Linda Tripp was saying was like, I had to stop this.
Right.
You know, and like start setting the precedent
Right.
to the president
Right.
that this was no longer kosher. So it's so weird because so many like in the Kavanaugh trial or the Kavanaugh case. It wasn't a trial, the Kavanaugh hearing. There were some women, a lot of them, that were siding with him. And my skin would just crawl. I'm like, no, I've been in that situation before where, you know, you're just young, you're naive.
You're 15, you're 16.
A guy called,
yeah.
I mean, I was way more sympathetic to that girl than you were even.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I've been there and way worse. Like, I wish they just went over my clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got that way worse.
Oh, boy.
What they did to her happened to me in public at a bus stop.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah,
no
in public.
Kidding. Really?
Yeah, in public at a bus stop right in front of like a person's house. Same exact thing.
No kidding.
Except no music playing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, and, you know, I certainly didn't ask for it. I mean, you know, I was trying to be like flirty with these guys who were bullies rather than being more subversive to them. I thought being more subversive to them would make it worse. So I was being like nice and flirty, and then that made it even worse.
Just riled things up worse, right? You were hoping it would go away.
Yeah, like if we're nice to them, then they won't like, you know, do this to me.
I don't think they realize how impactful it is to your self-confidence, to everything, and it could be damaging in your whole life because it's something that triggers something that you live with, and you feel like the failure. You feel like, hey, I didn't do something about this. I just let this happen. I let that guy have those gestures or do whatever he did, and I'm helpless. You know, you feel like you're totally a wimp in this whole situation because you didn't do anything about it, and then you start to question yourself.
Yeah, I was 14, and I always wondered, what should I have done, you know, to make it go differently? Should I have not been nice to them because these guys were like kind of tough guys?
Right.
Should I? And I grew up in Queens, where there was a lot of this like tough bully guy stuff. Like, should I have like played the tough girl role, which I knew how to do too, to them, or would that have made it worse, like more violent? And instead I went with the like, I'll be sweet and kind of flirty and nice to them. Yeah. And either way, that exactly what happened to that woman is what happened to me in public at a bus stop. Yeah. And so I completely believed her. I'm like, that Christine Blasey Ford story like really resonated with me. And I can't imagine that at some level didn't happen to at least once, maybe in a lesser sense or even in a worse sense, to other women, and why any woman would not believe her. Like, why would you subject yourself to that? And I'm so glad that she came forward. And, you know, and of course I totally believe her. And I think that Kavanaugh was, you know, totally wrong. And, you know, there's other people I think that should be sitting on the bench right now today. But yeah, I mean, this thing happens, and I'm really glad that the Me Too movement's happening. And I'm really glad that I listened to Slow Burn and heard what Linda Tripp was saying, because it all comes full circle. It's like, wow, someone's bringing this back all the way around, back to the 90s.
Absolutely.
When it should have come out in the first place.
Right.
I mean, it should have come out with like President Kennedy, or, you know.
It should have a long time ago. I mean, like I said, we had issues since high school. You know, even as a child, when you're younger, elementary school, you didn't recognize maybe certain things happening that may have caused you some kind of mental problems that, like you'd be afraid of certain things because you didn't realize what it was. You're too naive. You don't know.
Yeah.
And then in high school, you're shocked because everybody's like, they're all are hormonal and everybody's super, the guys are all full of testosterone and the girls want to be beautiful or they want to be sexy or they want to make sure they feel attractive. And then there's bullying and acceptance. There's so many variables. It's tough.
Yeah. So what did our parents teach us to do, like in our age
Don't
group?
wear makeup to school.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like my family actually let me dress very sexy, but I was the one who was a little more afraid of it. So I got into punk rock to look like more like ugly or tough.
Tough.
I wanted to look more like tough,
right,
rather than sexy,
right.
Because at this point, I'm growing up in Queens and I had already been assaulted a couple of times, and then I was like, I just want to look like the tough girl that they don't want to fuck with.
Well, there was, just going.
I wore a lot of spike necklaces and spike bracelets.
That is scary. You're scary.
That's
girl.
what I wanted to do. I'm like, well, if they grab me by the neck or anything, they'll grab
but
a
I remember
handful
taking
of
the
spikes.
subway, and just having a man come behind me and put his hand over my hand on the bar, just like that.
Ew.
Ooh, right? And you're going home from school or something and you're alone. What do you do?
Yeah.
I would look for the first stop where I saw a police guy and I'd get off at that stop even if it wasn't my stop because I was afraid.
Yeah.
And it's like that every day was survival in a way.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I just think that, I think today it's a lot different from what I'm seeing because everything is coming out. It's not hush hush anymore.
Yeah. But then you were saying before we started the show, like how far can it go? Like I think people are worried, like how far is too far? And to me, because I have a lot of anger about this, because I had been assaulted quite a few times.
Right.
I was date raped
Right.
before there was even a date rape law.
You have guys that push their ways with you when you're saying no. They don't take it as no.
Yeah, I was date raped.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fucking string them up by the balls, man. I don't care. Go all out. I don't know. Arrest them if they look at my boobs.
Right.
So I'm the wrong person to ask because I've got I'm mad about it.
I was saying to you that it could work both ways. I mean, we're talking about guys doing this to women, but women equally could be doing this to men.
True.
And if it goes too far, I mean, Me Too movement has given us a voice, thank God. I wish this would have happened when I was in high school already.
Too.
Because I think I would have been probably more successful as a person, and I'm not saying job-wise or everything, just for me personally.
Me too, 100%. Well, yeah, did it hold us back in our lives and our careers? 100%.
It stopped me from doing a lot of things.
Yeah, and it also made me lower my expectations.
And my self-esteem.
Yeah.
Thinking I wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing. It's just my concern is that it could get out of hand like everything does. It starts with a good cause, but then it could go overboard to where I was mentioning to you, like what happens, like, you and I have both been trained with, being in a management position, you have to take a sexual harassment course for the office.
Yeah.
But at what point does it stop? Like what happens if you accidentally say, you're walking and you spill coffee on yourself, you go, oh, fuck. And then someone could take that as like, hey, that's inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
That's sexual or whatever. Like, where do you draw the line? Because they say you're not supposed to curse or use that derogatory verbiage at work because that is considered sexual harassment. But it happens accidental sometimes, not. Well,
it might not be sexual harassment, but it could be offensive to some people. And I guess, I don't work. I mean, I work slightly corporate because I teach fitness classes at Equinox. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm my own boss. So, but I still, you still have to, take those sexual harassment classes and whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's really interesting what's going to happen. I think human resources definitely have their work cut out for them. I don't know, where it's going to go, but my suspicion is they're going to be like, oh, somebody, said a bad word and it offended someone, like, oh, fucking A,
Yeah.
Like, how many times have I stubbed my toe and I go, fuck me?
Right. Well, that's.
I don't really mean
that word is a sexual word. Yeah. I mean,
and I don't really mean for whoever's walking by to come in my door and fuck me. Like, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Postman, I wasn't talking to you. I just stubbed my toe. Oh, UPS? No, sorry, not you.
Wasn't an invitation, guy.
Seriously, but I know so many times where I hit myself, oh, fuck me.
Yeah. Well, you got to worry about that. Or, some people were saying a guy.
Laugh.
Sorry. A guy had a picture of his girlfriend and she was wearing a bikini on his desk, they made you remove so it got to the point where no personal photographs, no explicit calendars that have women looking too sexy in them or anything like that.
Oh, my mechanic is going to be really disappointed.
I mean, all those industries, it's like.
What are the mechanics going to do without their tool belt girls?
What happens if you go, hey, hey, Jill, how's it going? And you get tapped, somebody just taps your shoulder.
Yeah.
Is that sexual harassment, or is that just a kind gesture? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, well, I guess that's
that endearment?
That's
from
a
somebody
job.
you worked with for 10 years, or is that now sexual harassment?
I think they go to human resources and they kind of have like a hearing.
Yeah.
They have like a cabin.
But I mean, that's where it's becoming a little controlled and awkward, because now you may not mean it, and it becomes like, oh, I better watch what I say, think, see how I look at that person.
Well, I think what guys are doing now is that they tap you on the back and then they say, hey, is that okay? Did I offend you? Like, just ask the person.
Well, what about if you drop your pencil in front of a guy and he thinks you're looking at his crotch when you're bending down to get it? Like, does he think you're sexually harassing him because you may have looked down when you were getting it? Like, where does it stop,
Well, then I would say, excuse me, I'm grabbing this pencil. I'm not staring at your pencil dick.
There you go. That's major sexual harassment right there.
Good thing I don't work
Don't laugh.
Good thing I don't work in an office environment.
But I mean, I've heard of incidents because I work in that arena in corporate, and it's like, where do you draw the line? Now it can become an innocent gesture that could get somebody fired.
Yeah, I think what I'm getting is that you just have to ask the person if that's offensive to you or not.
And you forget because you're so used to, like, you have endearment sometimes, people that you've worked with for a long time.
Yeah.
That you've joked around with.
I have clients who are the same age as me, and it's really just one client who's the same age as me.
And there are people your age. That's amazing.
Yeah. And he calls me darling and honey. And he's married, and I know his wife, and his wife is the one who hired me to train him.
Right.
It's so interesting. I'm like, honey, darling, have you not? And he's got a lot of companies. He owns a lot of companies.
Right.
I'm like, have you not gotten the memo?
Oh, really? Because what about the people that kiss you on both cheeks?
Oh, yeah.
Or kiss you on the cheek?
Well,
or tongue you. I mean, I'm just kidding. But when they greet you and they kiss you, I mean, some people take that offensively. I mean, I wasn't used to it because I am European, but I'm not that mushy, kissy European culture. I'm more stoic.
Yeah.
And then
so everyone in Montreal does the double kiss, right?
Well, the Mediterranean culture is the hot-blooded. They're more like Italians. When I go to Italy, they want to kiss you, but they probably want to kiss you all over, But they do that.
In America, I guess now they'll probably be asked not to do that in like a
kissy.
a workplace environment, I guess.
But people still do it.
Yeah.
They still do it.
All right. Well, to be continued. I guess we'll find out what happens. But I'm glad that it's all being brought out. I mean, I feel better for the younger generations because I agree that it definitely took a toll on all of us. And if all women our age are honest, there's quite a few of us that probably didn't get where we.
It's easier to go through school now if that's the case.
Yeah, but why? I mean, I feel like there's more kids killing themselves now than there were when we were kids.
Well, that is a different story, and that is cyberbullying and all the social media that channels that they have to get to you 24/7. Where before you go away from school and it was you weren't bullied at home unless you were in a bad home. But today they can text and everybody knows everything about you instantly. Right. It's degrading.
Yeah.
If you have one flub at school that you did something weird or your pants ripped and everybody's going to know in a minute. If you're weak and insecure, you could drive yourself over the edge with that.
Yeah, well, they're taking care. Well, yeah, so the bullying is one whole thing. Yeah. So, and then the Me Too movement. I mean, there's crossover for sure.
Absolutely.
Because, it's a type of sexual bullying. It's a gender role bullying. It's bullying because men versus, men and woman. But there was everyone can actually watch this. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Our World Explained, or it's just called Explained is what you really see.
Okay.
And there is one about not the Me Too movement, but it's about like women in the workforce and how that all came to be, and like the whole power dynamic of men versus women in the workforce, and the gender gap, the pay gender gap. But we can learn a lot about like why men feel so much more powerful and women don't. So anyway, I'm glad the tides are turning. So before we wrap it up, any Bitchfests or favorite products you want to talk about? Favorite product or Bitchfest?
Favorite products.
Or a Bitchfest.
I'm enjoying my Chardonnay right now, so I'm numbed. How about you? Do you have a favorite product? You're going away, so what are you taking with you that you love?
I bought a bunch of stuff from Aloe Yoga again. It's funny because I was just on a shoot. It's awesome to be at my age and to actually get hired as a fitness model.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Like this
You go, girl.
I know I got quite a few fitness modeling jobs this year, and I'm like, that's really cool. So that made me feel really nice. And so I was checking out. There are some really great inexpensive products. The Stylist, I didn't get to keep them, but there was a brand of shoes called Allbirds that look kind of like felt or like flannel material. Kind of socky, flannelly, cozy material on top, and the shoelaces match the material.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, so it almost looks like a loafer with a white sole.
Oh.
And they were so comfy, and I had to wear those because the outfits we had to wear on this shoot were gray.
Oh.
So those were really nice. And then, believe it or not, from Target, they always carry Champion bras.
Target.
Yeah,
Target.
Target.
In case some people don't know.
Target. So the stylist bought me this jog bra that had these nice crisscrosses and multi-pattern textured grays, and it was really sexy and it fit perfect and it held my boobs just right. I was like, it's like a $20 jog bra.
I thought your boobs held themselves.
They do, but I always need help.
Yeah.
And so this, I never go without a bra. And I couldn't believe how awesome this jog bra was for like nothing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So ladies, go check out and this one had some padding and it had these crisscross back. It was very.
See, I'm a firm believer that not everything that is expensive is necessarily great. You can find some really good, cheaper finds, and it's the way you style it.
Yeah, and these Allbirds shoes were $100.
Nice.
And then I wasn't sure which. Like I knew that. So the resort, we're going to the Tony Robbins thing, and then we're going to a resort in Mexico for the rest of the vacation.
Nice.
And I didn't want to bring any. I'll bring one pair of heels, but I didn't want to bring more than one pair of high heels because I
You
know
don't
I'm
need
not.
that. Yeah.
You can't walk around a resort with
No.
high heels. So I brought one pair just in case I go clubbing with something, and I got from Nordstrom, they have these pointy mules in a few different colors. I got the silver ones. They're from Halogen. They're Nordstrom brand.
Right, it's their private label.
So comfortable, all leather and silver with a pointy toe. And I just couldn't believe how comfortable they were.
You see these department stores, that's why they're killing brands, because they're doing their own private label stuff, and they're doing it sometimes better.
I couldn't believe the quality.
And the price is so much cheaper.
Yeah, they were like, I think $69.
Wow, and leather.
Yeah, and leather and
awesome.
silver, beautiful silver, flat mules, and you can wear them dressy, or you can wear them with like leggings like this and a cute top.
Sure.
So those are the things I'm loving. Just a couple of like inexpensive things, not high-end brands that I picked up for the vacay.
That's perfect. It's like disposable fashion. You're not worried if it ruins. You know, it looks great. And you'd be surprised at the quality that you're getting for the value.
Yeah. The Allbirds were not cheap, but $100 for a pair of shoes that you can wear with
I've
everything.
Never heard of them. That's funny.
They're from San Francisco. So
Okay.
the stylist that came down from San
how
Francisco.
cool.
And then during the wardrobe fitting day, he was trying us in. I wound up wearing my own jeans, but he brought in all this stuff I haven't worn this brand since my 20s, maybe 30. Express.
I thought they went out. Are they still around?
Express is still around.
Oh.
And their quality is like a little bit like on the chintzier
Yeah,
side
but I
of
remember
material.
when we were in our 20s, it was like the hot spot.
That was the hot spot. Yeah, especially for
the
work.
limited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like the nice stylish stuff you'd wear to work.
Right.
So he brought in a bunch of like dresses from Express, and I said the same thing. I'm like, they're still around? So I swear to you, like $30 to $69, these dresses. And I put them on, and like the director and everyone were like, oh my God, those are really cute. Hold those, bring those to set.
You're kidding.
Again, like we didn't get to do every single scene and setup that we wanted to do, like all these wardrobe changes. So I wound up wearing my own jeans, but they put me in an Express top, and everyone was like, wow, that looks really good. So yeah, there is some really great inexpensive stuff out there. So check out Express online. You'll be surprised.
Wow.
Allbirds are these adorable shoes that you can dress up or dress down.
How cool.
Yeah. And you can walk around all day in them. And then the new Champion bras at Target.
Yeah, well, the Champion is a big thing right now. It's a big trend in sweatshirts and
didn't know.
hoodies.
That's what he said. He said it was a big trend. I had no idea.
Right.
Because I got some cute sweats from Zara thinking that would be cute,
Just like
trendy.
the whole comeback of Fila, too, is a big trend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, my fashion guru.
Anytime, yeah.
All right. So, so that's it. So those are our fashion tips. And next time we convene, we'll think about all of our Bitchfest topics.
Our Bitchfest, yeah.
It's
I'm just Bitchfesting at this time of year because it's crazy time of year. You've got so much going on. You've got your holiday shopping, your holidays, your family obligations, your work. I don't know. I'm not juggling things as well as I used to. I used to be so efficient and everything. I guess that comes with age. You start to get tired of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but I'm also tired of it.
Well, do you think because it's your work schedule changed? Like you don't have like your set office hours
No,
anymore?
I just felt like, perhaps it is, but, I find I'm less organized when I'm not at a strict hour schedule.
That's what I think, because Jim, who works from home, so Jim, who I've talked about many times, he sets his own hours because his office is one of our spare bedrooms, and he works out of the house, and the company is set up out of the house, his company. And, so is mine, but his company is set up out of the house. Literally, the office is his business office, and he gets up in the morning and he has his 20 to 40 minute meditation and his coffee, and then he sets his to-do list. So he really follows all those schedules, like all those, like those, what do you call it? Like those gurus of self-help and productivity.
Right.
Like I can't even, Tim Ferriss and all these guys that talk about Kevin Rose, all these productivity expert guys. He follows all their advice, and he got into exactly what they say to do, like do your morning pages, journal, yada yada, and then he does all these Tony Robbins things, and then he does his next sequence with Tony Robbins. So he has his like schedule: get up at 6, meditate till this time, have his coffee, do the Tony Robbins thing, set out his schedule, and go. And he's so much more productive since being somebody who could, when I met him, just get up when he wanted, walk into his office and do his own thing.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to gel into this new role because it's not comfortable for me right now, and it's actually really frustrating me.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to find one of the get any of these books on self-help. I mean, I can tell you all the ones that Jim has read.
And there's just too many disruptions being at home. Like in my office, my door's closed. I'm doing my meetings. I have my agenda. My schedule's set for the day. I know what time everything's happening.
Right.
Here, everything's just, whenever it happens, it happens. And this one's bothering me, and the doorbell's ringing, and it's just makes it crazy.
Yeah. So that's what Jim did. Jim, he's just set it out like he's at his office.
Right.
Off-site.
Right.
And it works. So I don't know, maybe we can work on some productivity for you over the holiday.
Maybe, because I'm finding I'm less productive, and I'm finding this is a tougher holiday season because of it. When I should have more time on my hands to do the things I need to do, I'm less efficient. I'm not getting anything done on the time I should be getting it done.
There's amazing books on this. So I'll have Jim share. So if you guys have great tips for productivity, or your favorite productivity book, or your favorite productivity guru, let us know. And if you have some really great ideas for products that you think are not a lot of money that still look great, that would look great on people our age, share your favorite products.
Definitely love to know that.
Yeah. All right, Tata.
All right.
Well, happy holidays.
Yes, you too.
And then we'll stay in touch. I'm going on vacay, and then you're going on vacay.
Time. Yeah. Well, you have a real good time and enjoy that Tony Robbins.
Yeah, and we'll be editing all of these, and then we'll get that channel up. And by the time anyone hears this, we'll have a channel, we'll have our website, we'll have our email, and everyone can get in touch with us.
It'll be green light.
All right. Happy 2019. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.